Hello and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to give you 10 reasons why if North Korea were to open up, you could make some amazing gains. And I think in the real estate market, you could make an absolute fortune. So here are my 10 reasons why. Number one, North Korea is actually very, very resource rich. So it is actually estimated that North Korea is sitting on mineral resources of up to $10 trillion, not 10 billion, $10 trillion. And this includes around 200 or more types of mineral resources. So we're talking about coal, iron, ore, zinc, copper, gold, silver, magnesite, and many, many more. Indeed, its magnesite reserves are second in the world only to China. Now imagine if they're able to export these resources when they open up. There will be a wealth of money coming into the country. Don't forget, North Korea is actually banned by most countries from exporting their resources. Number two, North Koreans are actually very hard-working people. And indeed, the whole Korean race is very hard-working. So if we look at South Korea as well, South Koreans are some of the hardest working people you will find on planet Earth. And indeed, South Koreans often, instead of taking their holidays, they actually work their holidays rather than take a vacation. Number three, I think if North Korea opens up, there is going to be an absolute boom in tourism. Now, before the pandemic, you could go to North Korea, but you would need a visa. You could only go on guided tours, and you could never ever leave the person who actually does the tour guides. So the tour guide rep, you'd have to never be able to leave him. He would be constantly monitoring you. And there's many places in North Korea you are just not able to visit. Number four, I want to talk about the birth rate. Now, the birth rate in North Korea is about 1.9 to 2. And that's actually really, really good. Compare it to South Korea, which is only 0.84. And this is good for the real estate market because the population will keep growing. Number five, I actually want to talk about the population growth in a little bit more detail and compare it to South Korea. So if we look at the next 30 years, the North Korean population is expected to grow by nearly 1 million, whereas in South Korea, the population is expected to shrink by around 5 million. And the average age in North Korea is only 35 compared to around 43 to 44 in South Korea. And this will ensure a good youngish population working. And so if North Korea does open up, there is going to be a lot of growth in this economy. Number six, I actually want to talk about Chinese buyers. So imagine if this market were to open up, the Chinese buyers are likely to buy real estate in very, very large numbers, considering that China is actually on the border with North Korea. And this will ensure that if property can be bought privately, it will absolutely skyrocket. Number seven, I want to go back to what's happened in other countries and use as an example. So there is a precedent of what's happened in other countries. And I've got many examples where prices have exploded once markets have opened in the real estate market. So namely China, Vietnam, Russia, and many of the former Soviet countries. So let's take another three, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. Prices, they don't just go up 30, 40%. They can go up 9, 10-fold. So you can make an absolute killing. And number eight, I want to talk about what happened 3 or 4 years ago when relations between South Korea and North Korea were actually not too bad. They were beginning to thaw. A lot of buying of real estate happened and of land around the border. So let me just take some examples. So on the South Koreans started to buy land near the border, but and also in cities. So, for example, Paju City saw a lot of investment, and in actual the Chinese side near the North Korea border also saw a lot of investment. So I'll give you one city, Dandong, saw a hell of a lot of investment, and Dandong is actually where you get the train from China to North Korea. So we've already got an indication of what could happen, or I think will happen, if North Korea decides to open up. Number 9, I want to talk about the literacy and education in North Korea. Now, UNESCO said that North Korea is one of the most literate countries in the world, and the literacy rate is estimated to be between 98 and 100%. And education to primary school and secondary school is both mandatory and free. And also, I want to point out as well that North Korea is a very equitable country when it comes to men and women. So education is free and encouraged for men and women equally to both secondary school and beyond. And finally, number 10, if you don't want to take my word for it, listen to what Jim Rogers said, the co-founder of Quantum Fund with George Soros. He actually believes that North Korea will be the most exciting country in the next decade or two for investors. So I also think that if North Korea were to open up, it would be a hell of an opportunity. And I've given you 10 good reasons why. Now, obviously, this is not going to happen overnight. It will take, I think, a number of years. So if you're on the younger side, so if you're watching this video and you are, for example, in your early mid-20s or maybe even a bit older, please do keep this in mind, because you could actually really hit a gold mine. And as I've said, I've used previous countries. Let me just take one example. In Russia, for example, between, I think, when figures were first published, I think between 1998 and 2007, the market increased by over 400%. And I think it may have increased even more beforehand, but I couldn't find, unfortunately, any figures for this. So you have to be very daring and very brave to go into this market once it opens up. But I usually give you videos about real estate markets, which are, even if they're not mature, let's say there are some first mover advantage. Here, you're talking about the very beginning of a market that could happen, and you could make a hell of a lot of money. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Did you even consider about investing in North Korea when it opens up? Are you keeping an eye on North Korea? I would love to know your thoughts. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please do click the like button. It does help get this video across YouTube. If you like my channel in general, please do subscribe, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. Thanks very much, and bye for today.